All right, let's talk about a skill that can honestly change the entire game for your career. I'm talking about clear communication. Because, it's not just about what you know. It's about how well you can get that knowledge out of your head and into someone else's. So let's dive right in. First things first, we need to talk about a problem that gets even the smartest people stuck. I like to call it the communication trap.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a meeting, you're explaining something you know is brilliant, you know it inside and out, and you just see blank stares? You can feel your amazing idea just fizzling out in the air. It's super frustrating, and trust me, you are not alone.
And this is what happens when that idea doesn't land. You get confusion. People start checking their phones because they've lost the thread. And the impact of what you're saying, it just gets completely watered down. Your point is just lost in the noise.
So what's the deal here? Why is this so common? Well, it's because most of us communicate the same way we figure things out. We start with all the background info, we walk people through every little detail and data point, and then, finally, way at the end, we reveal our conclusion. We're telling the whole journey, but that's just not how our brains are wired to listen.
But what if we could just flip that whole thing on its head? Well, there's a simple and I mean incredibly powerful idea for doing exactly that.
And this right here, this is the big mental shift. The old way is basically saying, stick with me through all these details and I promise it'll make sense in the end. But the pyramid way, it's the total opposite. It says, here's my point, right up front. Now let me show you why it's right. It's a game changer.
This is the pyramid principle, and the rule is that simple. Always start with the answer first. You lead with your main takeaway, your big conclusion, and then you follow it up with the reasons and the data that prove your point. It's direct, it's powerful, and honestly, it just respects everyone's time.
So why is this so crazy effective? Well, it all comes down to a little bit of brain science. Our brains are built to understand things from the top down. When you give us the main idea first, you're giving us a mental framework, like a set of empty boxes. Then, as you give us the details, we know exactly which box to put them in. Without that frame, it's just a flood of random facts, and our brains get exhausted trying to piece it all together.
Okay, so that's the why. Pretty cool, right? Now let's get into the how. Let's actually look at the structure you can start using, like today.
Think of it as a simple 3-level pyramid. Right at the top, level 1, that's your main message. The one single sentence you want them to walk away with. Below that, level 2, you've got your supporting arguments, usually like 2 to 4 key reasons that prove your main message. And at the bottom, level 3, that's all your proof. The data, the examples, the hard facts that back up everything you've said.
And that's the real magic of it. If you nail that message at the top, if it's crystal clear, everything else just clicks into place. Every piece of information has a home, and it all works together to support that single, powerful point.
Let's make this super concrete. I'm going to show you a real-world example so you can see just how massive the difference is when you go from confusing to clear. Okay, so here's the before. It's kind of just a rambling stream of thought, right? It wanders through late materials, vendor problems, waiting teams, and then finally, we find out the schedule was affected. The listener has to do all the heavy lifting to connect the dots. It's exhausting.
Now look at the after. Boom! The project was delayed due to supply chain issues. The main point is right there at the top. It's impossible to miss. And then neatly organized underneath are the exact reasons why. It's just instantly clear.
And here's the kicker. It's the exact same information. Not a single new fact was added. The only thing that changed was the structure. And that structure creates clarity, it projects confidence, and it has a completely different, way more powerful impact.
So you see, this isn't just some clever little communication hack. Mastering this kind of thinking is a direct line to leveling up your career. I mean, just think about the day-to-day benefits. You'll be able to speak up in meetings and actually land your point. Your emails and reports, they'll be sharp, persuasive, and people will actually read them. And when you've got to present to leadership, your ideas are going to be understood and taken seriously.
And really, here's the bottom line. When you communicate with this kind of clarity, people don't just hear your ideas. They see you as a clear thinker. They see you as someone who's organized, who's professional, who's ready for the next level. And those are the people who get trusted with more responsibility. Period.
And listen, this is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer trying to explain a complex problem, a project manager giving a quick update, a team lead trying to rally the troops, or really anyone who's looking to get promoted. This skill is a must-have.
So I'll leave you with this one thought. Your ideas can be absolutely world-changing, but if they aren't structured, they will just get lost. They won't be heard. The pyramid principle teaches you how to think before you speak.
And that one skill, well, that can change everything.